Well, top of the hour, let's get you more on that as Afghanistan has begun carrying out strikes against Pakistan in response to the recent Pakistani airstrikes that was carried out on the Afghan territory. Clashes have intensified along the Durand Line between Afghan and Pakistani forces as the Afghan security forces claim that they have captured several Pakistani posts. At least 7 of them have been seized as the Afghan authorities say that the strikes are in retaliation for recent Pakistani airstrikes, marking a sharp escalation in border tensions between the two sides. Pakistani military, however, what is being said that several people have been killed in these ensuing clashes that is now being reported as Afghan troops have been renewing the border attacks after Pakistan launches airstrikes on Kabul. Well, this seems to be Pakistan's Operation Ghazab-ul-Halq, which against Afghan Taliban following what it described as unprovoked aggression along the border as clashes between the two neighbors have intensified. And this is now coming in from their information minister, suggesting that every aggression will be firmly countered. However, when it comes to the claims that have been made on part of the Afghan forces side, that is being dismissed and denied by Pakistani, saying that neither of their soldiers have been captured, nor any Pakistani posts have also been captured by the Afghan forces. Let's connect with Srinjoy on this. Srinjoy, this is another conflict that is now taking place, an escalation rather. Last year, there were some border skirmishes. Now it seems to have escalated to a point where there are retaliatory strikes coming in from the Afghan side.
Yes, this has been going on for a while. This has been cooking for a while. And let's not forget that the Pakistani Air Force has even hit Kabul in the past. So, which is a attack of serious intent. When an Air Force hits the other country's capital, as the PAF has done in the past, it means something serious. Now, this is going to be a very intense clash, as you rightly said. Now, both sides have made very serious points. Now, we don't know exactly what the situation is on the border, but both sides have well-armed armies, well-trained armies, and they know the terrain quite well. The Afghans have got a lot of military equipment, primarily the equipment that the Americans gave to the Afghan army of the previous government, and also the stuff that they left behind. So both sides have a lot of soldiers, a lot of weapons,
and a lot of unverified claims as well, as far as when it comes to the actual situation on ground and the kind of losses that both sides have now incurred. Srinjoy, please to stay out with us, because it seems that Pakistan has also responded to these strikes that have been carried out by Afghanistan. As this border conflict is now escalated, what has now been said that the explosion had rocked Kabul after the cross-border strikes where Pakistan has now hit targets deep inside Pakistan. Kabul, Kandahar, what has now been said, have been targeted by Pakistani airstrikes, and they've now hit the Afghanistan capital hours after Afghanistan attacked Pakistan. So this seems to be a counter and a retaliatory strike, Srinjoy, that has now been also carried out by the Pakistani military.
Yes, this was what you would expect, because the Pakistani Air Force has struck Kabul in the past. And now, once again, they've hit Kabul, they've hit Kandahar. Now, two things. First, of course, in a few hours or a day or so, you would expect the international authorities to intervene. You would expect United Nations to do something. More important, President Donald Trump, you would expect, would pick up the phone and say, well, end the war. Also, in the past, there have been talks between the Afghans, that is the Afghan Taliban, and the Pakistanis in Qatar. Now, you would expect that also. But the point is that this is going to be a very difficult situation, because the Durand Line, which basically divides Pakistan and Afghanistan, is not accepted by Afghanistan. Afghanistan says that the Durand Line should be much further to the east, which means that they want a portion of Northwest Frontier Province, which is Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Now, Pakistan is not happy to give away that. So the border itself is a questionable thing. Then there is the attacks by the Tehreek-e-Taliban deep inside Pakistan, which has hurt the Pakistanis very badly. Plus, can you imagine, currently Pakistan will be fighting a two-front war. On one side, there is the Afghan army, and then the second front is inside Pakistan. The Baluchis are up in arms. The Tehreek-e-Taliban, which is in the northwest frontier province, is unhappy with the Pakistani government. The people are unhappy in Sindh. People are unhappy in POK. So as a result, it becomes a serious problem.
There is a lot of internal escalation as well, while Pakistan has been facing violence, and this seems when it comes to long-term violence within, and also the Durand Line, which Afghanistan does not recognize. It is over 2,600-kilometer long border, and when it comes to, as Srinjoy mentioned, the volatile labors, the border skirmishes that have continued, and to that such an impact that airstrikes are now being carried out, that makes the Qatar-mediated ceasefire that happened before increasingly now become even now shaky. Let's, in the meantime, also connect as far as these developments are now concerned, because this is now coming in from the border side as Afghanistan versus Pakistan. Border skirmishes have now intensified, and we are looking at clashes and counter-attacks that have now come in from Afghanistan side as well. That seems to be all right. Well, Mr. Asthana is connected with us. He's a defense expert. Sir, what is your understanding as far as these developments are concerned? What is happening across the border? Because both sides have been making unverified claims of the damage that seems to have been incurred over these strikes and airstrikes that have been carried out.
See, I think in your channel I mentioned earlier, when the airstrike took place of Pakistan, I said the Afghan government, Taliban, is going to react. There is no way that they will not react. So they have reacted, and it was expected. Now what happens is, as far as the air power is concerned, Pakistan has an edge, and they have much better air power. But Taliban is certainly going to do daring ground attacks, which they have done in terms of firing on the posts and maybe eliminating some posts and killing their soldiers. So that is the way Taliban is going to react. Certainly, there are going to be claims and counter-claims, as it happens in all clashes, all border clashes, and whenever the two forces they clash. But the truth will lie somewhere in between. So Pakistan is not admitting as to how many people have been killed. Afghanistan is claiming a big figure. I'm sure the truth will be somewhere in between. But Taliban's reaction was expected and has happened.
Absolutely, because Pakistan side has now declared an open war. Major General Asthana, thank you very much